Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop, Emerald Planet. All the ecology news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's your host, Executive Director of the Emerald Planet, Dr. Sam Lee Hancock.
Hello, this is Dr. Sam Lee Hancock, and we're coming to you actually from Ipanema in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We're here looking at the various best practices around the country of Brazil. This is what we call our mini treks as we prepare for the Emerald Trek, which will start in about the next 12 to 15 months. And so we have some outstanding guests that I've been meeting with over here for the last 8 days, and we're coming to you live from the beautiful, dynamic, and just ever-present Brazil. We have someone who is actually not only leading the charge for change and development, and we should use the term sustainable development, but throughout Latin America, representing the United Nations. This gentleman works throughout the entire Latin America area. His name is Fernando Patino. He is the coordinator of the UPP social program. And I'm going to let Fernando tell us what that's about. The United Nations regional office here in Brazil for Latin America and the Caribbean, which goes under the acronym of ROLAC. Fernando, are you here with us on Skype?
Yes, good evening for you, Samuel, and for all the audience. Yes, I work with the United Nations Human Settlements Programs, that is UN Habitat. That is the agency that leads the activities of the UN for human settlements. UN Habitat promotes socially and environmental sustainability towns and cities. And our global headquarters is located in Nairobi, Kenya. And our mandate is defined in the Habitat Agenda, that is the charge of the UN adopted by all the member states in the City Summit hosted by the city of Istanbul in 1996. We work now in regional office also. One of these regional offices is the Rio de Janeiro, is in Rio de Janeiro, and it's in charge of all the Latin American and Caribbean countries.
Well, I tell you, that is really a huge territory. And you and I were laughing with each other earlier about Skype. And I was saying that not only do you need Skype throughout Latin America, which I'm sure you use all the time, but also with the traffic here in Rio de Janeiro, with the many events, I'm not sure that you don't use Skype within Rio itself.
Yes. And we will always say that probably the better location is in Panama because it's in the middle of the Americas, but for historical reasons, we are in Rio de Janeiro, and we try to deal with this limitation to get flights and other things. And I think that the new technologies are very useful for this work in all the area and cover all the countries.
Well, the United Nations and its Habitat program, I know that when I met your colleague who introduced us, it was like UN-Habitat. Can you explain the format of that and maybe some of the different areas that you're actually covering as far as the services to the citizens throughout Latin America?
Yes, we have two main pillars of our works. One pillar is all the housing rights issues, the right of the people to have a decent and adequate shelter. This is one of we work supporting the national and local governments to formulate and implement good and housing policies. And the second pillar is the urban pillar, that we promote the development, the sustainable development of human settlements of the cities. Then this second pillar includes mobile, all the aspects, that is from infrastructure, mobility, water and sanitation, and also urban economy and urban safety as a whole, all the issues related with the urbanization. And we developed both substantive and programmatic support to the governments, and also technical assistance implementing pilot projects that which allow us to learn and to share these lessons learned to the cities and to the countries at the political level.
Well, I know, as you know, with the Emerald Planet, we're looking around the globe, and of course, we're in Brazil right now, looking at what we call the 1,000 best practices for environmental, economic, and civil society development. And I tell you, it's very impressive what is actually going on here. Just within my 8 days, I've actually already been introduced to over 20 different what we would consider best practices that combined all three of those together. And I've been told there's probably several other hundred more just within this region, not counting the whole nation or even Latin America. So it's going to be exciting to return and go one by one through these different best practices. But Fernando, why is the United Nations taking such a leadership role on the rapidly expanding urban areas of Brazil specifically?
Yes, I think that urbanization by itself is not the problem, because from an historical point of view, cities are being the hubs of many positive economic and social processes that have generated wealth and opportunities for millions of people around the world. But at the same time, the problem is that unplanned and unequal urban growth creates poverty, pollution, and more recently, crime. And the problem is not the urbanization, but I think that the predominant patterns, the urbanization patterns in most of the Latin American countries have conducing to physical and social segregated cities. And that is the problem. We face a lot of problems in the cities, not caused by the urbanization, but yes, but this type of urbanization that is segregated, spatial and social, that creates segregated social and spatial cities. The proliferation. Sorry.
I was going to say, Fernando, I think the UN is taking a positive lead and highlighting these issues, and it also provides a forum so that the leaders, as well as the NGOs, private businesses, and the citizens have an open opportunity to discuss how do we address the urbanization of the planet, because we're talking about 70% of the population of the Earth will be in urban areas by 2050. But according to the statistics that I've read, Brazil is already at 70% in urbanized areas.
Yes, Brazil now is in almost 87% in urban areas, because we have 75% in 1990s, then 81% in 2000, and the last census in 2010 say that 87% of the people in Brazil, and this is a big figure, a country with almost 200 million of inhabitants that have 87% of its population living in cities, put the urban policies in the center of the citizen and policymakers' concerns. And because of this, and it's not only in urban areas. We have here in Brazil 2 of the 25 biggest mega cities located here in Brazil, São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro, concentrating the 16% of the national population. It's a big challenge, and we think that Brazil and the people of Brazil, the government of Brazil and the local governments and the civil society are now trying to face this challenge in a different way. 10 years ago, the national parliament decided to adopt a city statute, city law, and for the very first moment, the country had a national framework that allows all the levels of the government to deal with the urban issues. We have a Ministry of Cities that is in charge of all these issues of the urbanization. And I think that is a good and promissory step, but at the same time, there is a lot of challenges that is not.
Well, it's just amazing that to update these figures to 87% of your population in urban areas, that's just absolutely incredible. And as you know from your work with the United Nations, the cities all over the world are just rapidly growing and need to provide the food, the fuel, the fiber, and then all of the infrastructure that's needed for that. We're down to where we've almost run out of time, Fernando, and I apologize because I just wanted to ask you so many more questions, but you're going to be back with me for the second segment. But if we could just in the next last minute, I think that we have, how does the UN Habitat going to be address these quality of life issues for the citizens?
Okay, with pleasure.
Are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, just
we start.
Go ahead.
Okay, yes. Now, only to say that these figures for Brazil is a little different for all the Latin American region, because Latin America and the Caribbean is the most urbanized region in the developing world. It's 78%.
Fernando, we're going to lose you. We're going to lose you. Thank you for being with us as we look around the globe to create the Emerald Planet.
Bin Laden calls getting nuclear weapons a religious duty.
Today, materials that can be used to make nuclear weapons are stored in more than 40 countries.
Sometimes protected by just a chain-link fence.
Yet not enough is being done to lock down these materials
before terrorists steal them.
Why did we learn all this?
My mother.
My son.
My sister-in-law.
Were all murdered September 11th.
Help protect America.
Together we can.
Please join us.
The stem cell issue is being debated throughout the country. Truth is, most everyone has an opinion, even if they don't know the facts.
Let's stop arguing and start really understanding the potential of stem cell research.
For us and for millions of Americans living with disabilities, get the facts.
Call 1-877-842-3442 for free information from the Stem Cell Research Foundation. That's 1-877-842-3442.
Following the tragic events of September 11th, there have been hundreds of violent attacks against innocent Americans.
Remember what that flag you're waving stands for.
Remember, please stop the hate.
We're stronger when we are united.
Remember what that flag you're waving stands for.
One nation under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty
and justice
for all.
In America, there's either room for everyone or it's not America.
Don't pick the wrong fight.
Let's keep America land of the free.
Stop the hate.
Planning a home renovation? Put this at the top of your to-do list. Because after 10 years, none of you are protected against tetanus and another potentially fatal disease, diphtheria. A minor injury, such as a cut or a scrape, can put you at risk for a tetanus infection. And while safety gear offers some protection, an up-to-date vaccination called the TD booster is the best insurance against tetanus. So get the TD booster. If it's been 10, do it again.
to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock, the President Executive Director of the Emerald Planet of Washington, D.C. in the United States. And we're having a very special time on what we're calling our mini trek as we get ready and test all the different systems that we're using for television, sound, slides, videos, and all the other social media that goes into producing the Emerald Planet from Channel 10 TV in Washington, D.C. We have a very expert crew there, and they just do fantastic work as we're out here traveling around the globe looking for what we're calling the 1,000 best practices. So right now I'm very near the beach, Ipanema, and Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And it's been an absolutely fantastic trip. We've been introduced to dozens of leaders here in all kinds of areas of the economy, environment, and civil society development. But I have on with me for segment 2 of the Emerald Planet, Fernando Patino, who is the coordinator of the UPP social program. This is of the United Nations and the regional office here in Brazil for Latin America and the Caribbean. Fernando, thank you for being with us.
Okay. Good evening again.
And yes, well, what I want to do is start off as a little review, share a little bit with our domestic and international audiences the mandate and the vision of the UN Habitat program. And then we want to get back in to talk about this rapidly urbanizing world that we live in.
Yes, we in the UN Habitat works with two main mandates. That is to promote the rights for housing, adequate housing for all the people. And the second one is to promote sustainable urbanization and sustainable cities for all. These two pillars is our mandate, and we work with supporting national, local governments and also civil society networks to implement the habitat agenda that is adopted by the UN system 20 years ago.
Well, as a practical example, I know you're actually located in one of the two megacities of Brazil. The other is Sao Paulo, and they make up about 16% of the population of Brazil, which is just incredible. But tell us a little bit about the UPP social program that you actually are implementing at this time in the municipality, the city, if you will, of Rio de Janeiro.
Yes, UPP Social is a strategy of the City Hall of Rio de Janeiro that, as you well know, Rio de Janeiro during almost 20 years is dramatically well known in the world as a very violent city because the traffic, the drug traffic lords take control of the territories of some favelas in Rio. And because of that, the city have a lot of problems, not only in safety problem, because this violence affect all the city. And the city hall, the municipality decide to promote an urban, social, and economic integrated program. That is the second step in the public policies, because the first step was a new peace-building police units. It's a new modality, a communitarian police that is being implemented since 2009, by the state government. And then the city, the municipality, decide to start a more integrated process to face the physical and social gaps that affects the people that lives in favelas. And we as UN Habitat are supporting now this big effort. I think that the real change in this program is that it's not a pilot project in one or two favelas. It's a program that is working in 117 favelas now. And this is almost covering more or less 400,000 people. And we are now planning to increment the number of favelas. And I think that is a real successful story that the municipality with its own resources decided to challenge the life of the people that live in favelas. I stress again that it's not only physical improvement, it's social and cultural improvements and change that is now being implemented in a very innovative way.
Well, I was very impressed. I spent actually the entire day yesterday and last night in 3 of the favelas and met a number of people there, and also many people that were actually there in the old times, and yet they've dedicated, some of them 20 to 30 years of their lives to make a difference in the lives of the young people there. And actually, in one of our segments, I'm going to introduce a young man who has come up with a very innovative way of teaching vocational and what we would consider green jobs throughout the different favelas around Rio de Janeiro. But looking at the United Nations, it's becoming involved, not just funding, but really on the organization and the policy and the research on urbanization and how to deal with the infrastructure of education, health care, and quality housing, as well as infrastructure. What are some of the tools that the United Nations is using, Fernando, to allow other localities and other countries and even other continents learn from Rio de Janeiro?
We think that the innovation is in adopt 3 components program. That is one component, a very main component is the information, the management of information. One of the problems of this city and many cities in Latin America, that is they don't have real in-depth information about the reality of the favelas, of the slums. And one of the steps for integrate this population is that all the people in the city, not only the mayor and the city hall, but also the NGOs and all the population knows the details of how is the life there, and have the real data, the dynamics that is occurring there. The second component is the territorial one. That is, we have the teams, local teams, hearing the people, interacting with the people, and building with the people local plan of actions. And the third component is the institutional component that is aimed to integrate the offer, the public offer that is that the municipality and other level of the state of the government gives to these favelas. And there is 3 components interacting: the information one, the territorial and communitarian one, and the institutional. We developed a lot of tools to diagnose, to monitor, and to guarantee better management of the programs, and an offer that really fits with the demands of the people that live in favelas.
Well, we're running out of time again, Fernando. There's just so much to discuss, and there's so much information that you have to share. But I'd just like to let you state maybe about 1 minute or so, 3 main ideas that you've learned that could be used by leaders and citizens in countries in Asia, Africa, and the South Pacific.
Okay, I think that the first one is the relevance of urban planning. I think that cities are at the same time places for modern human strategies, but also for collective hubs. Well-planned and well-managed cities could be crucial to overcome the more critical challenge of the world in this century. Partnership is the second one. It's crucial to adopt an integrated approach based in public, private, and community partnerships. And the role of the local governments is the third one. I think that the local governance is the key chain links for urban management, and it needs to be supported and to technical improvement.
Well, I think we have maybe about 30 seconds left before the music cuts us off. What is one last profound idea, concept you would like to share with our domestic and international audiences?
Okay, I think that to build citizen culture is a key element for urban development. Build better cities for all is not only an issue of physical improvements. It's mainly a matter of people interacting and having the conditions to build their collective dreams without fear and without any type of discrimination. This citizen culture, to build citizen culture, I think that is the main thing that will us to improve the condition of the citizen in the world.
Well, Fernando Patino, I'd like to thank you for being with us. He's the coordinator of the UPP social program with the United Nations, the regional office in Brazil for Latin America and the Caribbean. And having spent a great amount of time, actually, since I've been here out in favelas, it's impossible to learn everything that one needs to know. But I've been extremely impressed with the dedication of the volunteers and staff members, representatives of the government that are there in these areas to do exactly what you're saying, Fernando, of developing a culture that's positive, that's contributing, and also it's for volunteerism throughout that area. So I'd just like to say thank you for being with us as we work together to create the Emerald Planet.
Thanks a lot.
Trabajo. I would like to speak English better. Me gustaría hablar inglés mejor.
I want to be a U.S. citizen.
Quisiera ser ciudadano de los Estados Unidos.
For over 35 years,
por más de 35 años,
the Hispanic Committee of Virginia has been serving our community.
El Comité Hispano de Virginia ha estado sirviendo a nuestra comunidad.
Job training and placement,
capacitación, ayuda para conseguir trabajo,
education for children and adults,
educación para niños y adultos,
immigration, naturalization, and medical referrals,
ayuda para los procesos de inmigración y naturalización y orientación sobre médicos
are a small part of what we do.
Son solo una pequeña parte de lo que hacemos.
For help, information, or to volunteer,
para ayuda, información o para ofrecerse como voluntario,
contact the Hispanic Committee of Virginia.
Comuníquese con el Comité Hispano de Virginia,
helping everyone participate more fully in American society.
Ayudando a todos a participar plenamente en la sociedad norteamericana.
Hey, Lena, where's yours?
Would you notice if you were missing half your kidney function? According to the National Kidney Foundation, 20 million people have chronic kidney disease, and 20 million more may be at risk and not even know it. Anyone with high blood pressure, diabetes, or family history of chronic kidney disease is at risk. Early diagnosis is vitally important. To get the whole story, talk to your doctor and visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org or call for a free brochure. Because when it comes to chronic kidney disease, you might not know the half of it.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello, this is Dr. Sam Hancock, the President and Executive Director of Emerald Planet in Washington, D.C. And I think we're getting a little echo as we come to you by Skype from Rio de Janeiro in the fantastic, dynamic country of Brazil. And it's just marvelous to be here looking at the 1,000 best practices and what we're calling one of our mini treks to really test out all the technology, the social media networking, and everything else that's needed to bring you the Emerald Planet from around the globe. We have a gentleman that I met through the Rotary International Club. This is Wainer Guimarães. He's a Rotarian, and also he's serving as a special events advisor in the Rotary Club of Rio de Janeiro, the Flamingo Club, and also he's serving as a special advisor with a number of NGOs around Brazil, someone I've spent 2 very full days with and very impressed with his intelligence, but also his energy. Wainer, welcome to the Emerald Planet.
Thank you.
And tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing here in Brazil. You lived in the United States for a number of years and felt like that you're being called back into Brazil. And actually some of the work that you're doing with the favelas here is quite impressive.
Thank you very much. Yes, I came back after being away for about 26 years. And my coming back was connected with a Christian organization in the U.S. I came back to do social work, but also I'm a believer, so I also meet with people to talk about Christ. But my work, social work in favelas has been more in the area of sports, English as a second language, and arts. And basically, we are creating platforms of opportunities for the young people who usually work with kids from anywhere 14 to 18 years old, to give them an opportunity to, instead of getting into drugs and gangs, they can discover their talents or better their talents and going on in life with a better opportunity to succeed.
Well, I know that when you left that there was a great need for the country and these very large urban areas, and even in some of the rural communities, to integrate these informal townships, if you will, communities that just spring up around the very large cities, the mega cities such as Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo and others. And now you're really in the throes, because you took me to 3 of these favelas yesterday. But there are many that are watching this program right now that probably have never heard the term favela and probably do not know what that even means. Share with us a little bit about the dynamics of a favela and really just define it for us, Wainer, so that people know really what.
Well, favelas, usually called favelas areas, usually in a hill where a lot of development took place with no coordination from City Hall, and where people made back in the 60s and 70s, they made that tin shack, little houses with tin and paper and so forth. But in the last 20 years, the bricks, most of them are little houses where 5, 6 people will live in a room. Where a lot of the hygiene, a lot of the electrical, and all the necessities are not totally well planned and put together, although a lot of improvement has been happening. So you find many favelas where the majority of the people economically are in a very difficult situation. They do have a better condition within their homes. So those areas also become a easy prey for criminals, and many of them for years are run by different drug lords who will develop the whole system of drug distribution and looking for those who can buy drugs, and they create various smalls and big cartels. And so those kids usually, they don't have a lot of the opportunities, the families that people who do not live in that condition live. In Rio, population of about 8 million people, the estimate is about 1,000 favelas or slums that will be in Rio, where the opportunity to succeed is not available as people who do not live in those areas.
Well, I know that you were taking me out to meet a number of the workers that are there. They do come out of communities of faith, but also we met with people that are dentists, they're physicians, they're psychologists. They have very high level education. They are extremely well-meaning and very dedicated, and even some of these people have actually moved into the favelas themselves and keep a permanent residence in that area. And so when you're looking at the people that become involved, how do you see this as an impact? And of course, with Emerald Planet, we're looking at how we combine the economy, the environment, and civil society. How do you see these well-meaning and highly educated, motivated people making a difference in the lives of the people that are actually in the favelas themselves because of economics and lack of other types of opportunities?
I believe that to be able to change any area, the best approach is to have people who have abilities, who have capacities, and maybe have connections with either capital education to move into those areas. The changes that will last, it must start within the area that the changes are needed, and must be done in a way that the people around those areas also see the ways to change and are somewhat inspired, and they see things that they need to do. All the way, for example, you will find talented kids everywhere in the world. Talents given by God are not only for people who have. Anyone who's born have talents. And so one of the areas that I took you yesterday, a group called Youth with a Mission, had a group of 4 or 5 moving into one of the favelas, one of the slums called Morro do Borel, or Borel in the mountain of Borel. And there they've been for over 17 years. Through the years, they've done all sorts of projects to offer the people possibility to participate with them, all the way from cleaning up to education to after-school program. One very successful program that they began many years ago was they began to see kids with talents in the area of music and arts, for example. So they began to find ways to get those kids together, facilitate their learning of their arts. So through arts, they would not only find a way to be away from the streets after the school, but also through the arts begin to create an instrument for social transformation, an instrument not only for entertainment, but also a sort of a platform where they can also express themselves, present some of the issues through acting or music, and also to sell some of the products so they could make some money and develop. So we went to a place like this. Another I took you into is Favela do Manguinho. where a church in a privileged area has been going there about monthly with enough food for a family, for a small family, to have basic food for a few weeks. And so we were at that place where an outside organization goes in partnership with neighbors. They bring in food to help people to survive, and they also bring education regarding ways by which the people in the communities, in those favelas, in those slums, can also come together and begin to find a better future together. So those are a couple of the examples, but you will find many examples of how when one wants to, can participate and be involved. But the best practices are the ones done by Youth of the Mission. They send groups of people to move into those areas, and then they get to know the people, and with the people they begin to develop programs. This is part of what we also are doing here in Brazil.
Well, I think it's quite impressive. The federal government in Brazil has made a policy collaborating with the mayors of the large cities to bring about real change. And as you know, we have a number of people watching this program from all over the planet, from 213 countries and territories. And what are the three main things that you would like to share, Wayner, that people in India and China, South Africa, Uganda, all the different countries across the planet could use as they rapidly urbanize to a level almost to that of Brazil?
I think the first thing for anybody who wants to be involved in a process of transforming lives.
Wayner, I need to let you know we only have about a minute and a half left, so we need to be quick.
Okay, then I would say believe that people with participation can make a difference. I think it all begins with believing that something can happen. I would say if anybody want to come to Brazil and maybe to the other countries too, from the US or from other countries, help with English. If the people learn English, they will have a better situation and finding jobs. And I think the other point is the one I made before. Come in to move into the place and be part of the process, not from a distance. Be part of it.
Thank you, Wayner, as we look around the globe to create the Emerald Planet.
Retirement might be easy for some folk, but for others, it might take a little more work. And for those who haven't started, there are still things you can do to catch up.
Oh, that is good news.
Like getting out from underneath past debt. And don't get wrapped up with high-interest credit cards.
Get you some eyes.
Be diversified with your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Your financial goals are not out of reach. The choice is clear. For a happy ending, choose to save.
Everyone with alcohol and drug addiction is in the same boat. With treatment, you can find solid ground. For drug and alcohol information and treatment referral for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Dude, are you sure you want this tattoo? Because just do it.
Some mistakes in life are permanent. Like hearing loss. To learn how to protect your hearing, visit asha.org.
You've probably heard about heart disease, but did you know that it's the #1 killer of women nationwide? Heart disease claims more lives each year than breast cancer, lung cancer, or strokes combined. But there are steps you can take to protect yourself against it. For more information on how you can prevent heart disease, contact your local American Heart Association or visit their website at www.americanheart.org.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. This very beautiful, dynamic, and fast-paced country and city. It's just a delight to be here as we look for the 1,000 best practices around the globe. As you know, we're committed to identifying these, and we're also at the same time testing and identifying the very best practices to work with our television production studio in Washington, D.C., with the social media networks and other social media. And so we're interviewing a number of people the 8 days that I'm here in Brazil about the best practices. And here we're really combining not just the environmental and economic development areas, but also civil society. This is a real thrust that the Brazilian government, and along with the mayors of these large megacities and fast-growing urban areas, have dedicated themselves. And this is part of the mission and purpose of the Emerald Planet. And so I have with me someone that's just absolutely amazing, a very young man, has a degree in sociology, and he has developed a system through the arts. I'm going to introduce you to Felipe Albuquerque, who is a co-founder of Galpo Aplauso, which means applause. This is a NGO here working in the arts. And we may need to adjust the camera as we bring in Philip and let him talk about what he's doing. So we need to bring it in. So Philip, welcome to the Emerald Planet.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad to have you here. Share with us a little bit about what is going on with your organization, this Galpo Aplauso.
Yeah, we'll take care of young people from slums and favelas. They have difficulty with drugs and violence domestically in their houses, and a lot of them are out of school. So, and the ages from 16 until 27, 28 years, and our project helped them to get a better life and get all of them in jobs, in good jobs. We have professional courses in that, in arts and civil constructions and other kinds of jobs that can do well in big companies.
Well, what I'm going to tell our viewers, I'm going to try to bring you just a little bit closer to me so we can get you into the camera. Yep. But it's just really fantastic. I know that you're working with your mother, and you've developed a program. Now you have over 5,000, I'm going to say that again, 5,000 graduates. That's a lot of students.
Yeah, more than 5,000 that's from this NGO. And we have this associates because they find great jobs in a lot of careers of theater, of music, and civil construction. How I'm gonna say this? These young people, young girls, they have to find some project, and we offer different methods that I created when I was in university of sociology, studying anthropology and anthropology programs. And I saw that they don't have a creativity life. They need creativity. That's the first step of the method. So we start with music, and we start with circles, and we start with theater.
Well, when we say the circles, these are called the circles of trust.
Yeah, circles of trust. That's why. Can you imagine, Samuel, you live in a place that there are no laws, or the laws are made from organization, criminal gangs, Can you imagine if this person trusts in someone? I think it's difficult to believe in that.
Well, it's really difficult, and I know that you're bringing in young women and men both from the favelas, and I understand that you're actually reaching out to a number of different favelas to be in the arts and also the vocational and green jobs training program.
Yeah, in Green Minds, but we're gonna find it. First, they have to do the acrobat or circles jobs or plays, because a man stay 10 meters in a point, and she will give her life to the other man, take her in the arms. So in this practice, you have to believe in the other person, so you hurt yourself. So you have to practice this trust games, you know. And the second step of the method is to develop virtue, like values and ethic education and ethic pedagogy, because they don't have these words like courage and wisdom and like love and harmony in their vocabulary.
Well, this is something that's really, as you and I have been talking over the last actually 2 days about this in the television program, is that you're really educating these young people in a whole new vocabulary, both in Portuguese and English, that they really, most of them have never even heard before.
Yeah. After the first step of trust themselves with creativity, they have to change their vocabulary. And we do that with teachers and professors and all the team of the NGO and all the students. So they change their words and their minds to resolve problems. They don't hurt themselves anymore. They don't fight anymore. They start to say with new words like, I disagree with you because there's not fair. That's a new phrase for them. That's a new idea, a new word saying this phrase. I disagree with you because that's not fair, that's not prudent. We need to put more courage in that. This kind of words change their feelings, change their minds, change everything in their lives.
Well, I think this is something, Felipe, is that many people in these types of situations, and actually across all of society in the 21st century, they need to realize that words have power, and words do count and have weight, and so is how we articulate and share with others through the vocabulary and through the arts, which is what we're leading to in this next question, really helps shape them in everything they do in life, but also they carry that back to the favelas where they're living, so they can actually help change the adults that are around them.
Yeah, and that's here we go to our third step of the method, because they don't have an organized life. Because in favelas, on their schools, public schools, here is like a crazy order. We don't see like organization, like order, like everything working right, how you have to do. They don't have this in streets. So they have a lot of difficulty to continue with their job, to make it continue with the studies in their schools and in their college. They usually go away and nobody see the students anymore. So we create the third step called teamwork, a strong teamwork. You know, like you have to learn how to be a winner or participate in a group. Not alone, not by yourself, not defend yourself in any cost, in any way.
Well, this is something that's really important in Brazil as the rapid industrialization that you have. It's an incredible expansion as far as natural resources, but also the service sector is a huge portion of the economy. And so what you're doing is you're actually training these young people in, as I understand it, 3 tracks. One, of course, is the arts, to be a cultured person. Secondly is vocational, because many of the people actually do have the jobs. And then third is how they actually sustain themselves, but actually just change everything around them.
Yeah, everything around it changed, and that I should like. The third step, teamwork. The professionals are usually great athletes or great actors, great dancers. Here, families in Brazil, champions, and we talk with these professionals to show an example of life, because they don't have that example in their homes. It's difficult to them to be in a group to take this on, and before, when they are going there in the first day, the second day, we show them about green places. We try to take them to a botanic garden, have a great botanic garden here in Janeiro, and try to take them on environmental educations and in the beach, and because a lot of them don't know the beach in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, that's just amazing to me how many people live within 1 to 2 miles of the beach, and yet they've never been there. And then having spent a great amount of time in the favelas all day yesterday, there's virtually no green. There's green surrounding these, and you see it, but yet there's very little green within the favela itself.
Yeah, and that's why everything changed around there. Because first, when they show the environmental education, they sell in their minds, in their young minds, that's not for me. Why are you doing that? That's for people that are more poor than me. So
yeah, they're saying because they're out in the countryside somewhere.
They see people that works with that, with green stuff, or people that are more poor than they are.
Yeah, that's just amazing, the mindset that they have. We are rapidly running out of time, as you know, because 13 minutes goes very fast, Vitape. In working with your nonprofit, what 2 or 3 ideas would you like to share with people around the globe about how using the arts and culture can lead people into green jobs, into having a vocational skill and training that will help them throughout their life?
Yes, because arts and culture, it helps to develop the sensibility of our life, and you stay with the open mind for green places and green projects and green educations, environmental educations.
Well, we just ran out of time. Thank you for being with us as we create the Emerald Planet.